You're listening to the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast, the show that proves no one stumbles upon success ever. With your host, Lou Need. Every Mondays and Thursdays, we deliver cold hard evidence behind the power of a robust morning routine. Get ready to be transformed by the renewal of your mind.
Hello, morning enthusiasts. Welcome to the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lou Need, and today it's an honor to introduce a very special guest to the show, a friend of mine. We've been in communication for a couple of months, and now it's like really nice to have him on board because it's such an alignment with what we do here at Best Morning Routine. Kyler is coming on today, y'all, and he is the co-founder of OnRoutine. It's a mobile app that provides highly personalized and customized visualization for its users. And OnRoutine is on a mission to help people like yourself and myself accomplish our personal goals using the science of visualization. So with no further ado, Kyler, welcome to the show.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Dr. Lunid. And I'm so stoked to be here. And you already kind of mentioned the alignment. It's kind of crazy because literally your podcast, Best Morning Routines Ever, and our company OnRoutine, literally like they're pretty aligned just at the title. So I would figure that, obviously I've listened to a lot of your episodes. There's definitely a ton of alignment. So I'm definitely happy to be here to chat with you and share a little bit of OnRoutine, obviously for you as well as your listeners. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you on. I know definitely there is synergy here. So, let's get into it. Tell us about OnRoutine. What is it?
Yeah, absolutely. To first kind of give you an explanation of OnRoutine, I think I have to kind of maybe hit again on what our mission is at OnRoutine. So our mission really at OnRoutine is to help people become the best version of themselves and to become the person that they were meant to be, right? Yeah. And we do that through the OnRoutine app, right? And so how we do that through the app is we basically learn a little bit around our users, learn about a goal or goals that they may have, and then understand kind of what their life looks like once they've accomplished said goals. We then take that information and within 5 minutes, we deliver highly personalized, customized visualizations that are audio-based for each of our users. Right. So each user is experiencing a whole different visualization than, say, another user because it's super personalized and built custom to them and their specific goals.
That is interesting. I love the personalized piece and aspect to it. I don't think any other platform is doing that just yet. So you are onto something. So why would visualization be of importance? And what the heck is it?
Yeah, it's a great question because there's so many things that have visualization in it. And like actually visualization and like technology is typically known for visualizing data, like data visualization, which is not what we're all about. But yeah, visualization, it's a really interesting concept. It has a couple different names. People might know it as mental imagery or mental visualization. I just refer to it as visualization, but essentially it's the practice of utilizing your imagination to help you accomplish goals in the real world, right? So something that may be similar to visualization that we could all probably relate with to a degree is daydreaming. Now, daydreaming and visualization, there are some very impactful differences between the two, but thought I'd just use that as a reference because so many people are familiar with daydreaming. Now, with daydreaming is typically something that's passive, right? We're kind of going along for the ride, letting our mind kind of wander any direction that it goes. Also, daydreaming can last maybe for a couple seconds up to maybe a minute. And a lot of the time we daydream about things that aren't necessarily positive, things that are kind of negative and give us our own self-doubt or fear. Yeah. Now, in comparison with visualization is a much more active practice. So you're actively controlling this imaginative state. You're visualizing from a first-person perspective. You're visualizing accomplishing a specific goal. You're bringing in all your senses, right? So touch, smell, sight, sound, etc., into this experience. And you're bringing in emotion as well. So you're bringing in empowered emotion, right? So you're really feeling in charge of how your life is going in whichever direction you want it to go, as well as you want it to be an elongated experience. So again, with daydream sometimes that lasts for a few seconds. With visualization, you want to be up 5, 10, sometimes 15 minutes in a session to really feel that experience and be empowered by it.
Yeah, it's like envisioneering. I have that in the HitSavers app where you actually put all the colors, all the sounds, like imagining, say, you won an Emmy. What would the applaud look like? What do people in the room? So being able to kind of use the brain to picture something that hasn't already happened, to make sure it happens, because the brain doesn't know the difference. That's the power of our mind, right? It doesn't know. If you tell it not to think of a pink elephant, what are you thinking about?
Pink elephant.
A pink elephant. So the same way with visualization, I picture, Kyla, you're talking about is being able to get in that space of giving the brain the adjectives, giving the brain the verbs that it needs to actually picture this so it can bring it to your reality.
Yeah, 100%. And it's really incredible around like neuroscience and how the brain works. I mean, to be honest, we're still fairly unsure about a lot of the brain's operations. And, as time goes on, 30, 100 years, I think we're going to be very surprised around some of the knowledge that we learn around how the brain operates and how we can best utilize it to help us get the outcomes that we want in the real world. Actually, kind of on that topic, there's a couple different theories on why, visualization works, right? And two of the main ones that I've been able to identify and kind of relate with the most would be, the first one would be the law of attraction. So, the law of attraction, I know you're familiar with it. I'm sure some of your listeners are as well. If you brought up the idea of the law of attraction 20, 30, 40 years ago, people would laugh at you. Yeah. Now it's almost mainstream. And you hear it all the time. It's almost synonymous with manifesting. For people that are unaware of the law of attraction, it's basically the concept that the energy that you put out into the world is the energy that you attract, right? So I know that you're very familiar with the law of attraction, and that is one of the main pillars for people, one of the potential reasons why people practice visualization. Now, the other one, which we just kind of touched on, is how visualization changes the brain structure. Right? And that's known as neuroplasticity. And I know that you know about neuroplasticity and the effects of how your personal experiences change and rewire your brain. So, for the people that are listening, neuroplasticity is basically the way that your brain is changing and adjusting based off of previous experiences. And these experiences don't have to be just physical. They can also be mental. Now, going back a little bit to like mental experiences and how they can be negative. For example, if someone has some sort of negative thought and, imagine some sort of scenario where they're getting hurt or a loved one gets hurt and they get stuck in this mental trap and they're always thinking about that, they will actually start to change how they live their real life. And their brain structure will actually start to shift, even though that is completely mental, which is astonishing. And the same thing with physical experiences, right? So, let's say that I was learning a new instrument, learning to play the guitar. I don't know how to play any instruments today, so it'd be very terrible for everyone to hear. If I picked up the guitar and try to give it a go today, right now, what you would probably see is my back would be really tight. My shoulders would be kind of tucked in. I'd be making weird facial expressions. The sound probably would seem very off. But if you gave it 6 months of practicing, what you would find is that my body would become more relaxed, right? And I'd play with some skill. I might even have some long hair at this point. I might play guitar, who knows? But if you were to take a brain scan from the first day that I picked up that guitar and looked at how my brain was interacting when I was playing, versus 6 months after daily practice, you'd see a significant difference within those brain scans. So just kind of going back to the two theories there, when it comes to visualization, there's two concepts. One, it's the law of attraction, or that it's significantly changing your brain structure to better align with what the outcomes that you're hoping for to get out of your life.
Yeah, and it's programming. We're being programmed. And so the neuroplasticity is reframing, rewiring almost the brain, right? Because that scenario you gave with, say, a traumatic experience or getting those negative thoughts, I call them ants, automatic negative thoughts, your body starts feeling it, the physiological piece of it as well, right? Because you start feeling anxious. your heart beats faster. You almost feel like you are back there to an experience that happened maybe 10, 15 years ago, but your body's experiencing the stress level now. And so we're on fight or flight quite a lot. So with visualization, how does it change that, right? That aspect of like we're living in the past, but we're here today, but experiencing the past traumas or the past, beatdowns that took place.
Yeah, that's a great question. So when it comes to like visualizing, right, the more that you experience that visualization, the more that your brain adjusts to it. And that can be good or bad. It just is, right? It's just something that happens. So you might as well try and take control of that. Instead of reliving your past traumas, like obviously deal with your traumas with a professional and understand how to move forward from that. But you also want to move forward, right? And so when it comes to visualization, we always have our users visualize the future state, where they want to be. And so our visualizations are typically 10 minutes, just under 10 minutes. And we ask our users to go into their visualization. They get immersed into that experience, come out of it, and then live their life normally, right? But now since they've been experiencing this visualization over time and they're part of their daily routine, routine, they start to make decisions that are getting them to get to that outcome sooner and find more opportunities and kind of get more creative in how they can get to the outcome that they're actually visualizing. So like I said, going back to your question, like neuroplasticity in your brain, it just is. It can be either good, it can be either bad. And so try to utilize it in a good way.
That's powerful. That is super powerful, Kyler, because it really does impact in the act of you're creating your future essentially. Right? You're creating your tomorrow by actually visualizing it today. And there's another way that can partake. And I want you to talk a little bit about that is affirmations. Because let's see how that connects. Because in that visualization, you're also thinking, I am wealthy, I am healed, because everything you put after the word I am becomes your reality, becomes your truth. So tell us about how you've incorporated the art of affirmation into the visualization process.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So when we actually collect information from our users, right, we're asking them about the goals that they want to be, or what they want to accomplish, But the way that they're phrased, it's as if they've already accomplished, right? So we're actually having our users write these down. And anyone that is, a go-getter or wanting to accomplish things, know the power of writing down your goal and saying, I have this, I'm doing this. This is how my life looks, right? So by actually typing it in, writing it, we actually bank that into the app. This is what you are. This is what you're working towards. They put on their headphones and now they experience it. And the overload of that positive kind of outlook and visualization of accomplishing those goals is just so impactful. Really, it's incredible. So some of our users, it's funny that you say that. Some of our users said, wow, I have never even written this down before, right? I've never written down what I am. The way that the questions ask is, what do you want? It's framed in a way that you've already accomplished it. So now that they're writing it down, they're shocked that they even done it. Like that they've written it down. And we've just had some really great kind of feedback from some of our users. Some of them have cried, from the first time that they used their visualization because they've written something down that's been trapped in their mind. And then now they're actually living it. And that affirmation in its own is just so powerful.
Yeah, you're building quite a robust app right now. And I can imagine with the algorithm, it has to be agile and so fast to actually pick from the question, right? So tell us about the actual process of the app building and how it works so that when users hop on, they're not surprised. It is robust. And we're using some technology that hasn't been utilized in this way before, hence why there's not a product out there like OnRoutine today. But basically how it works is a user comes on, as soon as they download the app, we ask the user basically in a framed way what their goal is and how they're going to live their life once this goal is accomplished, right? It's a short questionnaire. It should take the user 5 minutes or less. We take this information and we utilize AI in the background to put this story together. Right? And then we bring the story to life. And then we do our things in the back end utilizing AI, and we bring it back to the user. So it's within their user profile within 5 minutes. A 10-minute clip is within their user profile within 5 minutes. Wow. That's impressive. And then I know I've spoken to you. What happens after, 2-3 weeks is you kind of move along with them to the next goal, right? You create a new visualization for them. So enlighten us on that piece.
Yeah, that's right. So the important piece around visualization, or actually any type of practice that you do, is that you're consistent with it, right? It's got to be consistent. You can't just do one thing one day and be like, I'm done. Everything's going to be perfect. It doesn't work like that with everything in life. So what we've done is we've incentivized our users to continue to practice utilizing their visualization and get into that mental state. And so after the user uses their first visualization just 5 times, they get to build a second one. A couple more times after that, they build a third one. And before they know it, they've got a whole playlist of visualizations that they can plug into that put them into this incredible experience around accomplishing specific goals that they've outlined.
Watch out, world. You're about to accomplish all your goals and then some.
Yeah, it's cool. It's awesome. We've told some of our users this and we've got some feedback, but it's really incredible, just within a few weeks, some of the changes that an individual find. And I know everyone hears that from sales, people selling, oh, your life is going to change, blah, blah. No, really, if you do your visualizations actively, you'll see a shift in how you go throughout your day. And you'll see a shift in how you go throughout your life.
Because you're reprogramming the subconscious mind, right? Because that's where we live 95% of the time. And 95% of the time, we're on autopilot. Yeah. We're habitual creatures, right? And the brain does this, again, our beautiful, majestic, brilliant brain does this because we need to operate efficiently throughout the day. Because imagine if you had to think about it every time you stood up to walk. Or if you had to think about driving every time, like, okay, how do I drive every time you get it behind the car? So our brain automate these things so that we can be more efficient and be more productive throughout the day. But there are some habits that are not healthy. There are some habits that actually are detrimental to us. So, and that includes like killing our creativity, the lack of silence, the lack of not knowing who we are or what our purpose is and how to go about finding it. So that creativity aspect of it, we use only 5% of it during the day. Isn't that crazy? And that's why I think what you have here is so powerful, because it will tap into that creative process because of that visualization. So tell us how it would do that.
Yeah. First off, I like everything you said there is absolutely correct. Like our brain uses so much energy. I don't know if a lot of people, I'm sure some people know this, but it uses so much energy and it's always trying to conserve that energy, right? So if they can do as much things on autopilot as possible, it'll do that. So you want to make sure that you're programming yourself in the correct manner to make sure when you're on autopilot and the decisions that are being made and how you control and how you act and control yourself through different situations is aligned with your goal. Now, going to the creativity, and this is going to sound a little bit strange, but I definitely think creativity right now is at risk, right? For almost more than it ever really has. And that's because kind of like going back to the neuroplasticity, we become what we engage with a lot, right? And right now, there are very, very big companies that are fighting for your attention, right? And are telling you how to think and how to act. And a lot of our decision making is actually getting determined by bigger companies that are grabbing our attention, such as social media companies, right? Or large news networks or whatever it may be.
Super Bowl Sunday.
It's something called the attention economy, right? Everyone's trying to grab our attention and monetize it through some sort of way, right? So because of this, our attention's always being grabbed and it leaves us away from creativity in a weird way. But going back to OnRoutine and like how it helps people become more creative and finding solutions to become the best version of themselves or finding opportunities to execute, which they then leads them to the outcomes that they're wanting. Well, we have to take a step back to the two theories, right? So let's go back to the concept, the law of attraction. Let's imagine that the law of attraction is 100% accurate. And I don't know if it is, very well likely can be. We'll find out as time moves on and more science is done around the law of attraction. But let's imagine the law of attraction is 100% right. If that's right, that means the more that you visualize and the more that the energy that you put out into the world, the more you're going to get back. Okay, that's really crazy. So if that energy is coming back to you, it'd be coming from all different types of directions, different things that you didn't expect that you then are linking. This thing over here and this thing over here could actually come together and become some sort of new creative engagement or process or way of thinking or art, right? So there's the way that if the theory of law of attraction is correct, that's how that would work. If the theory of your brain, not even theory, your brain is definitely changing due to experiences is correct. If you're visualizing all the time, your brain starts to develop and adjust to that vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's starting to adjust to that vision that you have in mind, let's say you want to be an entrepreneur. Well, now that I know that I really want to be an entrepreneur and I want to build something, I might look out and see, okay, I can see all these trees right in front of me need to be cut, which I didn't even notice before because I just wasn't thinking of a business aspect for it. So now I'm identifying potentially new opportunities just right in front of me, just because I'm focused so much on getting X, Y, Z goal. Right. Did that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Because what you focus on grows. Where your energy goes, it grows, it flows, right? And so if that is the case in law of attraction, is that accurate? Then it's the same way that our brain can almost dictate and kind of help us build the future that we want, which essentially says it's in our hands.
Mm-hmm.
We're the creator, right? Isn't that trippy to hear that where we go, where we end up is our problem, our habits, or we are the sum of all our habits, right? Good or bad. You know, if
Absolutely.
you have the habit of eating a burger a day, that's your habit. You're the sum of that. Or if you have a habit of eating a salad a day, you're the sum of that as well. That's all we are. We are a sum of all of our habits, who we are today. So if we wanted to be that entrepreneur that you talked about, Kyler, and then we start changing our habits. We start changing our habits to include visualization so that it can help us find our purpose and improve our creativity, or change the habits into working out more every day, giving us that energy, or consuming content, right? Such as this to actually help the brain grow and change the rewire the brain. Then we will wake up one day and be like, oh, holy moly, I am an entrepreneur now. Because those habits.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think when people hear that, sometimes there could be a negative connotation of you are the outcome of all your decisions. That's a really good thing.
Yeah.
That's a really, really good thing. That's not a bad thing. If you're, coming to this conclusion now, that's awesome. Okay. So what do I need to do to move forward? What decisions, what type of tools are there right now? What type of content is out there right now that'll help me move forward?
Yeah. So tell us about what helped you move forward. Let's talk about your journey. How did OnRoutine come up? What's your background?
Yeah. So I was raised in the Pacific Northwest in the Portland, Oregon area. And when I first got introduced to visualization, it was through athletics. So I came up from like an athletics background and knew about the practice of visualizations for athletics. It's pretty popular in that domain and used within sports psychology. Mm-hmm. After I finished, my athletics and high school and went on to college, finished up university, I got into software and tech for about 5 years, was lucky enough to work internationally in a few different countries. That definitely broadened my horizon, I would say. But during, my early and mid 20s, which I think is quite normal for a lot of individuals, they're, kind of looking to understand the world a little bit more, right? Mm-hmm. You're reading more things, more diverse things, maybe spirituality things that you may have not thought about when you were younger, right? Yeah. And reading about things to make yourself better. And one of the tools that I just kept coming across, regardless of domain, was visualization, right? Mm-hmm. It was something that was very big in athletics, very big in business, very big in the arts, very big in relationships, fitness, mindset, etc. And I thought, wow, that is really incredible. Yeah. There's a tool out here that can be used among many different domains. So basically, I kind of learned more about visualization, started implementing it into my life around 4 years ago to work on specific goals that I had. And I thought, wow, wouldn't it be great if we could help other people do this seamlessly? So I quit my job about a little over a year ago, moved back in with my parents. We're able to recruit a team of 4 people. So now we've got a team of 4 and we've just been building OnRoutine for the last year or so now, testing it, going through different rounds of beta and getting close to launching hopefully in the next few weeks.
That is phenomenal. It's always good to hear the backstory, right? The sacrifices we've had to make, but also how we stumble upon our purpose. You would say this is your purpose now?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And I think my purpose is very similar to many other purposes. right? We want to help other people accomplish whatever their goals are, right? You ask, 100 people, you're going to hear that, something similar to that, probably at a 25%, right? So there's just so many different channels on how that can get done. And I think this is the channel that we can really impact as many people as possible in a very positive way.
Yeah.
Which will in turn help me really realize my own visualization as well.
At the end of the day, it's funny you said that, because my purpose is not too far from yours. And my purpose is to inspire people to do what inspires them, right?
Exactly.
Accomplish their goals, do what makes them happy, build that business, find their purpose, be that loving husband or wife or father and a mother. But it's essentially do what you love, right? Figuring out how to do what you love. And I think the exciting part about us, especially us young entrepreneurs, is finding the how.
Yeah.
Figuring out how to do it and seeing how that pivots and how that changes.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's when it comes back to finding your purpose, the whole world is trying to tell you your purpose, but you know it. You know it deep down. You just got to find it, really, spend some time in solitude and maybe really think it over and then figure, okay, what is the best way with that, the tools that I have and the knowledge that I have right now, or maybe things that I can acquire to help people realize whatever their purpose is or help me execute my own purpose.
That is well put. That really does kind of sum it up, because it's about finding your purpose, but you got to position yourself to do it. And that's what visualization, the OnRoutine app, is going to put in place for you. And that's why, honestly, I do the morning routine. Morning routine is to help you find your purpose and also make sure you have the habits in place to keep it, to stay there, to stay in that space. So let's chime in and go ahead and talk about your morning routine. How do you get up, dress up, and show up?
Yeah. Morning routine is so important. I do and I know you and I have talked in other meetings and other chats around the importance of doing new things and adding different creative things into your life or new experiences, maybe going to somewhere new in your city that you haven't been before, right? I think that's super, super important. On the contrary, I think it's extremely important that you have a morning routine because the way that you start your day should be optimized, right? And to give you the best foot forward. So for me personally, I get up probably around 5 a.m., 5:30. I've always been an early riser since I was young. So just something I just wake up, can't go to sleep, I'm up. So typically I get up, I get a cup of coffee going and I get some water. I grab my book and I read for 45 minutes to an hour. And then after that, I do my own exercises. I recently, 6 months ago, I ruptured my Achilles. So my exercises are not as intense as they used to be. And they are now a lot of work just on rehabbing the Achilles. So do that for a bit of time as well. Have breakfast, shower. Immediately after my shower, I put on my headphones and I get into my visualization.
Oh, nice.
And I really experience what my goals are and what I'm trying to accomplish with my life and with my day. I pull those things out and I move forward.
Powerful. Yeah. Cause you are priming yourself to have a great day. You're priming yourself to have all the energy. You're priming yourself to be more productive, but also to show up for your co-founders and your team members, right? Cause you have a team of 4 now that you're working with. And I imagine you're only going to grow.
Yeah. That's our goal.
Yeah. So as you grow, becoming one of the CEOs and founders, you're going to have to be able to show up for your business, for your customers, for your clients, all the users that you currently have. So the morning routine is in essence, like necessary. It's like that self-care that you don't question. It just has to be done because if you do it for you. You do it so you can show up better to your parents, to your home, to your for your team, or for your company.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I couldn't even imagine if I didn't have a morning routine where it would be my day would be all over the place. Honestly, it'd be crazy. So I 100% agree with you. It is and I know and you're obviously aware of this, it starts the night before, right? As well, and making sure you get a good night's sleep. And, then you want to optimize it as much as possible. You've got 365 days in a year. You should be able to optimize your mornings.
Absolutely. So what time are you going to sleep if you're up at 5?
9. I get in bed around 9.
Good for you. Yeah, not a lot of people could do that. You must be a lion, because there's the individuals with their chronotypes, and the lion is the chronotype that goes to bed early, but an early riser. Well, you wake up with all this energy.
Yeah, I like that. I like to read in bed as well, and just, take some time to myself. But I normally hit the sheets and I pass out pretty quick, which is great.
Oh, that's nice. Lucky you. I'm like rolling around for an hour. I have to de-escalate, but I eventually pass out. But lately I've been waking up without an alarm, and it's been like 3:30, 4:30, and it's just been like earlier and earlier. But something about the quiet hours. What's the magic with the quiet hours in the morning, Kyler?
Wow. It's so important. It's some of the things that's, not talked about enough, and not just in the weekdays. I think one of the greatest times on the weekend is like 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. And if you, for example, you're up, you're walking around your city, you're getting your coffee, you're doing your errands, you're going on a run at that time before the world is even up, you're really just setting a real good time. I love doing that on the weekends. Like the weekend, early morning, quiet time in the weekend, like the 5 a.m., 8 a.m. time frame is a very unutilized time by most people. And I think there's a really powerful level of energy that you get if you optimize that time on your weekend.
Yeah, wait till you have kids.
I better optimize that as much as we can while I still have it.
Yeah, those sweet hours, they're magical. I mean, I tell you, I feel alive. I feel alive when the rest of the world is still sleeping and I am grinding away. But at the end of the day, they're grinding and I'm out. I'm like, this is it. My day's over.
Yeah.
And so it's quite powerful. I'm really excited that you share that with us because it does start the night before, the morning routine, even preparing like your workout clothes, getting that glass of water on your nightstand before you go to sleep so that you can wake up tomorrow. It's almost like setting up your environment, right, for success, which is what visualization does. Setting your brain as the environment for success, right? The OnRoutine aspect of it, prime it.
Yeah. 100%. And we actually have users that use it at night as well.
Yeah.
Which is also then priming for the next day. For me, if I use mine, I'm probably going to be a little bit jazzed up. I don't know if I'll be falling asleep right away.
Like I'm ready to tackle these goals. I got to get stuff done.
That's right. But
the power of the night is that Thomas Edison said, never go to sleep without giving your subconscious mind something to work on.
Really?
Yeah. So when you do it at night, you're doing your visualization at night, your subconscious now is priming in almost like doing the work, putting it together, strategizing so that when you wake up, you have more ideas on how to tackle it, but also it's remembering it. So the subconscious mind, remember that 95%, it's at work all the time, even when you're sleeping. And so the visualization at night, I can see how it would be powerful. I tend to do both. I do it at night. I like to listen to something like that before going to bed. And then in the morning to kind of get me ready for the day. But morning enthusiasts, if you're listening, this is how you prime your environment, which is your brain, to prime yourself for the day, but to accomplish all your goals. So it's been an honor to have Kyler on here and to bring OnRoutine on board because we are ready to be customized, personalized, and start to accomplishing all our goals. Kyler, this has been super, super, super nice. Tell us, how can we find you? Where can we connect with you?
Yeah. And thank you so much, Dr. Lunid, for letting me, come on to your platform and just chat and really enjoy this conversation just one-on-one with you. And I hope the listeners that are listening, at least found some value in it. And if you would like to learn more, you can find us at Instagram _OnRoutine, or you can find us on our website, which is www.onroutine.com.
Yes, and it can be found on the App Store, Google Play Store.
It'll be, we are aiming to be released on February 15th for both the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. That is where it will be.
15th of February, sorry.
Yeah, that is where it will be. And so links will be provided because you really got to check this out and try it for yourself because I'm a living testimony of visualization. It happens every day, writing everything down. And I like that you give access to that free form writing in the app because that's a form of meditation as well. And it kind of sets the brain or be prepared for what's to come. So it's phenomenal work that you're doing. And it's been an honor to actually be part of it and see you grow this.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Again, really, really appreciate it. Can't wait to when we launch, and obviously, working with you more as time goes on as well.
Awesome. It's been a pleasure, Kyler. Thank you.
Thank you. See ya.
Yeah.
All right, morning enthusiasts, that's it for today's show. Thank you for tuning in. If you love the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast, we'd love to hear from you. So go ahead and subscribe, rate, and give a review on iTunes or Google Play. While you're at it, tell a friend about the show. Be sure to visit bestmorningroutineever.com and our Facebook group to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover our fantastic free bonus content. Until next time,